Republican presidential candidate that even has some of the Democrats on his side. And as we've said before, and this is shocking, he's a gynecologist too. He's two treats in one. No wonder he's my favorite Republican. I've read all of your stuff, and I know that you want limited government, get government out of my life, right?
Good idea.
What about Roe v. Wade? I don't want the government telling me what to do with my body. How do you justify that?
I think the question is whether a baby that is unborn, that weighs 8 pounds, 7th or 8th month of gestation, has any rights.
Oh,
is it a person?
But what about the first month, or when you usually get an abortion?
You're not for all abortion.
I don't know. It would have to come up in the specific case.
Then the line, so you don't want me to do an abortion on somebody that has an 8-pound normal baby?
No, of course not.
Okay, so you're not for abortion, really?
No, wait a minute. But if the woman wants to abort a baby at 8 months, something's wrong, either with her mental state or her health. So
but the law says they can do that.
Yeah, but the law should.
If it's her body, why can't she do it?
Between the doctor and the woman?
That's not exactly true, sir. That's not exactly true. There is a limit as to when you can have an abortion. I believe that's the truth.
All the way through the third trimester.
I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Partial birth.
Yeah.
Roe versus Wade allows it in the third trimester. It dictates to the doctor what he can do in the first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. So it is the law of the land.
So are you not against, just you like Roe v. Wade, except up to a point? Is that what your position is?
I don't like the federal government doing anything.
Okay.
So I want the states to deal with it.
Oh, but if you're against abortion, what's the difference who's doing it, the states or the government?
Well, there's a big difference because the Constitution does give them. The states don't deal with murder and violence.
Okay, so it's not a moral position; it's more of a political position.
It's a legal position.
It means that the states deal with it.
Because I honor and respect the rights of the mother, but your home too. Your home is your castle. I don't want any government in your home.
Right.
No searches without warrants.
Right. Of course.
No cameras. But you can't kill your baby in your home.
Well, no, but that's murder. That's different.
Okay, but somebody sees this. As a physician, I've been trained to bring life into the world. And if I do harm to the baby, I get sued. So the baby is alive and has what rights?
Well, let me ask you this.
Of course, but that's a very unusual. But that's such an unusual situation. We're talking about girls who are in trouble and they want to have an abortion in the first month.
Would you be happy with a law that says abortion should be done no later than at 6 weeks gestation?
Look, I'm not happy with abortion, period. You know, I don't
nobody is.
Nobody is,
well,
but that's not the point.
idea. But here's my question. If you make a decision that this is where you need to go, because as I said to somebody else earlier on this show, no one makes this decision lightly. This is not something somebody says, oh, I think I'll go get this. This is not a fun thing to go do. So if someone has come to that place to make that decision, it's because they really feel like it needs to be there. Now, I think you should be able to get some help if you're reaching out for somebody like that. What bothers me is that there is no one who says, here's what we can do, because, you know, you have all these children. What are we going to do with them? If everybody has the kids, nobody, the churches don't want to take them. Nobody wants to put them in the thing. No, I want to finish the thing.
Well, the question is whether abortion should be done on demand and who controls it. What you're saying is a very difficult problem that we can deal with. And the more difficult a problem that we have, the more you want to be held locally. Before Roe versus Wade, before it was legalized across the board on demand, states did. I saw it happening. Abortions were done on rare circumstances, and it was done with caution. There was a recognition. There was a recognition that life was valuable, and I don't think anybody's going to win this. You're not even for abortion for anybody every time a minute before birth. You don't want to abort these normal babies.
That's murder.
At the same time, I don't think we'll ever reach a stage where there will be no abortions. But I want to sort this out the way the Constitution mandates, and that is at the local level.
What do you want to know?
Next question.
Hi, my name is Journey. I'm from Texas, and this question is for all politically pro-life candidates. In the event that abortion becomes illegal and a woman obtains an abortion anyway, what should she be charged with, and what should her punishment be? What about the doctor who performs the abortion?
Congressman Paul, 90 seconds.
You know, it's not a federal function to determine the penalties for a crime of abortion if it's illegal in a state. It's up to the state, it's up to the juries. And it should be up to discretion because it's not an easy issue to deal with. But the first thing we have to do is get the federal government out of it. We don't need a federal abortion police. That's the last thing that we need. But
should a woman be charged with a crime?
Pardon me?
Should a woman be charged with a crime?
I don't personally think so. I'm an OB doctor, and I practiced medicine for 30 years, and I, of course, never saw one time when a medically necessary abortion had to be done. But so I think it certainly is a crime, but I also understand the difficulties. I think when you're talking about third trimester deliberate abortion and partial birth abortions, I mean, there has to be a criminal penalty for the person that's committing that crime, but I really think it's the person who commits the crime, and I think that is the abortionist.
So you're saying a doctor should be punished. What sort of punishment should they get?
Well, I think it's up to the states. I'm not in the state. I'm not running for governor, and I think it's different, and I don't think it should be all 50 states the same way. So I don't think that should be up to the president to decide that.
Yeah, the young lady's question is,
your value system, my value system, we're all going to pick a standard against which we judge behavior morally. All of our laws, ultimately at their core, are going to be based on a moral evaluation.
What's your view of abortion?
I think that it's wrong.
Under any circumstances?
Under any circumstances.
Even rape and incest?
I think that someone who is ultimately willing to murder a child, even to fix another tragic and devastating situation, like rape or incest or things like that, is not taking the moral high road. I think that we're compounding the problem by also murdering a little child.
Could you honestly look a daughter in the eye if she was raped and say, you have got to have that child?
And yes, and I will help you.
That?
Yes,
wow.
Of course.
I find that amazing that people would say that.
Oh, but because I love my daughter, I love that little child. This is a little creature made in God's image. Perhaps, you know, imagine if you were the result of that and you had been aborted, we wouldn't be here having this conversation. And so I value life above all things.
Now,
the argument is that none of the federal money pays for abortion, that is separate funding, and that by defunding Planned Parenthood, you would be eliminating all these other vital medical procedures, which you as a doctor know. I know you oppose legal abortion, but what's your response to Ms. Legance?
My response would be that all of the services that she mentioned are available through multiple other sources. And to take an organization that not only makes money by selling baby parts, but doesn't seem to understand the sanctity of human life and is willing to destroy that. An organization whose founder believed in eugenics.
You're talking about Margaret Sanger.
Yes, and even to the plurality of their clinics are in minority communities.
Mm-hmm. Well, doesn't that make the argument that they would make, which is that the services that you're talking about, forget abortion for a second, but the services you're talking about are not available everywhere, and that's where minorities and people who are lower income get mammograms and treatment for STDs and birth control, et cetera?
I thought that they were supposed to be able to get all of those things based on Obamacare. Why do we need Planned Parenthood? I thought that they were supposed to be able to get all of those things based on Obamacare. Why do we need Planned Parenthood?
Oh, snap.
Other things that are just silly. So, Scarlett Johansson, the actress, she has now come out and she says that monogamy is not a natural thing. She did an interview with Playboy in which she talked about how monogamy is not natural. She said, with every gain, there's a loss, right? So that's a loss. You have to choose a path. I think the idea of marriage is very romantic. It's a beautiful idea. The practice of it can be a very beautiful thing. I don't think it's natural to be a monogamous person. I might be skewered for that, but I think it's work. It's a lot of work. Okay, that's true. So, you know, yeah. I mean, okay. Like, I don't know why this is some sort of revelation. Monogamous is not a natural thing. Monogamy is not a natural thing. First of all, it is more natural for men to be polygamous than for women to be polygamous. I mean, just biologically speaking, and that is because evolutionarily, It is, as they say in The King and I, man must be like honeybee, gathering all he can, right? I mean, evolutionarily speaking, the drive of men is to have sex with as many women as possible and therefore to propagate the species. The drive of women is to pick the best man possible in order to propagate the species, because if you have sex with some doofus, then your kids are also going to be doofi. That's just the way that it works in most of the animal kingdom. It also works that way in primates, and it works that way for human beings as well. But this idea that monogamy is not natural, and therefore what? Therefore what? Therefore marriage is not natural? Okay, so it's not natural. Guess what? Lots of things that are natural, as we just saw, are not necessarily things that are phenomenal and we should brag about. Like, natural is natural, but natural does not mean good. Natural is just what it is. And so this idea that monogamy is not natural, therefore monogamy is something bad, lots of things are not natural. Civilization's not natural. Clothing's not natural. The cameras are not natural. Houses are not natural. If we got rid of all of those things, if we got rid of agriculture, which is also not natural, if we got rid of all those things, then we could go back to living in forests and sleeping with everybody and dying at 23. I think that doesn't seem pleasant. So I think what we should stick with the institutions of civilization is sort of the final case